recently with Bartek we've been watching a lot of Bow Miles videos, and in a lot of them he talks about this.
I'm trying to bring out a narrative and I'm not sure what it is. Oh no, that sounds ridiculous. And so that's what I'm saying to myself. What's the story, man?
So it inspired me to do something new, and instead of just describing the footage, I actually asked myself, right Anna, what is the story here? Well, the short version would be that a boat was sinking, and we tried to save it, but that's more of a statement, not a story. So this time, I decided to dig a little bit deeper.
But first, let me deal with the scroll that's getting stuck. There, much better. It would be easy to pretend that the moment we realized it was sinking, we jumped on the mission, but that was not the case. The truth of the matter was, it was nothing dramatic, nor anything we haven't seen before around here. It has been sinking for days due to the heavy rain slowly filling up her belly. It was our friend that suggested we do something about it, to which we cynically replied that it was futile, as it was abandoned for years now, and we've seen it in that state before, and usually someone from the village showed up sooner or later to bail it out. But a day went by, then another one, and it was getting lower and lower in the water. Probably whoever owned it stopped paying for the upkeep and no one seemed to care. The question arises, why did no one, including us, care? Well, I cannot speak for others, but this is why we didn't. You see, Panama is a beautiful place, but most cruisers come here solely for the purpose of crossing the channel, with the dream of crossing the Pacific Ocean. Unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't exactly work out, and many boats, together with the shattered dreams of their owners, get left here to slowly wither away. We've seen it before, and deep down it always hurts to see an abandoned boat fading away. So many hopes and dreams broken, and so many resources wasted. But when you're surrounded by them with new ones appearing each year, you toughen and learn how to not let it get to you. You slowly stop caring, not to go crazy knowing you cannot save them all. of them have their stories. This one, for example, is the reason we are even here, so I know it's even harder to see when it's a part of your own story. You see, back in 2014, I spent 2 magnificent weeks sailing on her in San Blas, listening to the story of her captain, how he sold everything he owned, bought a boat, and started cruising. First, it was just that, a story. But 2 years later, it became an inspiration when we found ourselves looking to abandon the rat race and came to Panama looking for our own floating home. Later, Perle was sold to a new owner, who tragically on his maiden voyage, due to hard conditions, tiredness, and perhaps lack of experience, took the wrong path into the bay and hit the reef, slicing off her keel. So, honestly, it's not that we didn't care. I think we were just trying to spare ourselves the pain of trying to save a boat, knowing full well that it would be in exactly the same situation in a couple of weeks, and we would have to see it slowly go down yet again, but this time even more invested in it. Then, our friend had an idea. For a long time now, he had a plan to open a free sailing school for the underprivileged kids from the area. He found out that if he's able to prove he saved the boat from sinking, he could legally claim it, and so he figured out that after the sailing dinghies, she would be a perfect training vessel. She was promptly and informally given the name Buen Futuro, and now we were on board, as this was now becoming an actual rescue mission. So we grabbed our crash pump and camera, and we were off to hopefully prolong this particular story. We arrived, guys jumped on board and hooked up the pump, which promptly started to empty her out. Plans were already being formed for her future.
Dobrze umyć i wyszorować, może odmalować nawet na wodzie. Prosty rygiel jak drugi, ale to jest podstawa. 12,81 podczas pracy. Teraz już w ogóle... Nie no, syfona nie chcemy. 12,20. No to już zaczynamy ją zabijać od tych. Tak?
Coś tam leci, ale bardzo malutko.
The small battery we took didn't last very long, so when it started to considerably slow down, we decided to call it a day, especially that progress was already visible.
Ile mówiłeś, że bulkhead był pod wodą? A teraz jest?
Teraz jest nad wodą.
O.
We did a tour around it just to make sure, and yes, she did go up some.
Patrząc, że antyfoiling niby działa.
Antyfoiling jest akurat, no.
Mamy taki sztuchol.
Aha. Sprawdzić, wiesz, ja myślę, że ten rolerek jest, wiesz, funkcjonalny, no.
Na pewno lepszy niż nasz profer.
Kurwa, to jest kawał fajnej łódki. Dać mu zatonąć, to lepiej go, niech sobie, wiesz, używają. Nauczyć jak używać, niech używają, no. Jeszcze łowią cały czas, chyba tutaj wpadają sobie. Ciekawe, co za historia.
So we headed back with the plan to do a second session the next day, after recharging the battery.
Jutro możemy zrobić ciąg dalszy, jak chcecie. Nastawiam teraz krzykacza, niech ładuje, kurde, podłączę.
Ja naładuję, już nie włączę krzykacza.
Znaczy widzę, że jest jakiś gramatyczny hałas.
We made a short stop at another friend's boat to admire the view.
Nie, że są tam gagatki dwa, kurde. Kurwa, dwa gagatki.
Zobacz, jak nosek jest nisko w wodzie.
Next day, we headed for round number 2. While the boys pumped, cleaned and watched the dolphins, I wrote to the store in the village. They found many places where the rainwater was probably coming in. They also discussed the question of how to switch Oiysh to the synthetic rigging.
Tak, tylko jak się chwycić, masz tu jako nie T-bolt joint, bez stainlessa, tak? Tu też nie słyszę. Może ja się nie będę ruszał, słuchaj.
And when the battery ran out again, they headed to meet me on my rowback. We went by again to admire the progress. Crisis seemed to be averted. Happy at a job well done, we went back to our boats. There was still a lot to be done, but it was not in any danger at the moment, and we would be keeping an eye on it. As much as I would love to give you a happy ending, unfortunately life doesn't always work out that way. A month or so after that, before our friend even got the chance to take care of the legal paperwork, a squall came. She dragged and ended up like this. At this point, it was too much for him to deal with, so she remains like this still today. So, what's the story? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it ends here. Maybe it doesn't. But at the end, we can at least say we did try.